first of all, you got to start with the mentality side. He's got to get it out of his head. You got to approach it. Hey, I had a bad year. I can rebound from it. One of the things we're going to do, obviously, in spring training, we're going to give him some more at bats. I think it's very, very important to try to get him in mid-season form when the season starts. And so a lot of guys, they leave spring training, they have 50, 60 at bats. I might get Ike 80 to 100 this spring just to make sure that he's ready to go when we start.
When it comes to Lucas Duda, what about confidence and making sure if he's in a battle for first base that he doesn't lose his confidence?
Well, it's huge with Lucas. I mean, confidence is everything in our game, and Lucas is one of those guys that, he knows he's a major league player, but with every failure comes doubt, and we've got to rid that from him. Lucas is going to be a big piece of our puzzle again. So he's got that big bat, and I don't know where we're going to fit him yet, but he's got that potential, and when that potential rises to the top, I mean, he's going to be a run-producing guy.
Is there the thought, even the thought on your part, that the outfield is not out of the question for Lucas?
Well, it can't be. I think when we go to spring training, we got to look at every possible scenario that there is, and every matchup, and every lineup that may be our best choice. And is there a chance to platoon out there? There is a chance to platoon out there. But the one thing that we want to do is we want to make those decisions as early as possible, because we want all those guys to leave spring training in the best frame of mind that they're ready to go.
When it comes to Ruben Tejada, how can he improve in your mind?
Well, I think one of the things he's done this winter is he's really worked hard at getting himself back into shape. And when you live down where Ruben is, it was tough for him to keep himself in shape because he wasn't pushed by anybody. And when he showed up in spring training, his play showed it, and he was affected by it because everybody else was 2 steps ahead of him.
Do you believe he's learned his lesson, number one, and number two, is it his job to lose in spring training?
First, I believe in him. He's a very good player. He showed. He's only 24 years old. It's not like he's on the downside of his career. And I think the way he's approached the wintertime to get himself back in shape, he's going to show up and ready to go. He's at the end of the year after he got hurt. He and I talked for quite a while, and he said, "Hey, I got something to prove, not only to myself but to the people that I'm good enough to play at this level." And I think he's going about it the right way. And I would say yes, it's his job to lose.
What about the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud? This jump from first year up in the big leagues to now he's the guy from the beginning of camp. What are you expecting?
Well, one of the things when you're a young catcher, the first thing that you're always taught is you have to get the respect of the pitching staff. And I think that was Travis's #1 object last year when he got to the major leagues, is to show these guys that he can catch, that he calls a good game, they can trust him, they can rely on him, that he's the guy that they want him catching when they're pitching. And I think, somewhat his offense took a back seat to that. So I think right now he knows he's the guy. The pitchers love to throw to him. I think so. We got a head start going into spring training because every scout you talk to about this guy talks that he's got all the tools and all the potential. He's going to be a good offensive player, and hopefully when he gets to spring training, he's more relaxed, and we'll see that.
Have you had a chance to think more, Terry, about where Curtis Granderson may hit in your lineup?
Well, I've talked to Curtis, and I told him one of the reasons why he was a big piece for us is that in the last 2 years, David Wright, who has been red hot early in the season, has slipped in the second half because people stopped pitching to him. And we need somebody behind him that they don't want to face. And I think Curtis Granderson could be that guy.
Center field, Juan Lagares, is he an everyday player in your mind?
Well, I think he can be. I know he works very, very hard at it. But when we go to spring training, Gary, I will tell you, I told Chris Young, when we get to spring training, this guy was an all-star center fielder 3 years ago. When we get to spring training, we're going to play both those guys in center field, and the best center fielder is going to be the guy.
Terry, aside from Eric Young Jr., who do you look at as a potential leadoff hitter?
I'm not sure how all the pieces are going to fit, but I know Chris Young has led off in the past. Curtis has probably led off in the past. Dan Murphy, as good a hitter as he is, I don't really like him in that spot, but I know he could do it if need be. We know Ruben has done it and done it well. He did it well 2 years ago. So we have some other options, but I cannot. It's very hard for me to forget what happened when Eric Young got on base last year. We won baseball games, and he created a lot of excitement with his ability to steal bases and to run the bases. And our job in spring training is to work with him, every day to make him a better bunter, to get him so that he gets on base a little bit more. Because if he does that, he's the guy.